I see the Zoom right here, so I'm actually like looking at everyone. So, okay, we are going live. All right, so I will start by reading out of A Year of Miracles here. So this is just for reflections, prayer for everybody, begin our call, and our way of setting an intention for today's call. So on day 15, she writes, on the Lord's Prayer. Every single moment, the universe is ready to begin again. The only time that God's time intersects with linear time is in the present moment. Miracles happen not in the past or future, but now. Every instant, God is pouring forth his love for me with endless opportunities for renewal and rebirth. God is always saying, here is the glory of the universe. Do you want it? Show up for it, because it is yours. So we say unto all eternity, moment after moment after moment, God who dwells in the realm of truth, may your word be all powerful in my mind. May the world I live in here on earth reflect a reality of love. May I think your thoughts and make manifest your thoughts. Today, may I receive what I need. May my way be unblocked as I unblock my heart to others. Sorry, letting people in. And when I'm tempted into fear, may I be guided back to loving thoughts. That love might be my experience, and love might be my power, and love might be my happiness and peace in every single moment of my day. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed by thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So yeah, welcome everybody, and thank you guys for hopping on and just being a part of that first part of this call. Like I shared to start, I want to send prayers and love and peace out to everyone that is challenged right now by anything. Whether it be in relationships, whether it be just uncertainties, conflicts, like any disturbances from peace or in the mind and loss of peace. I'm sending just love and prayers out to everyone. I have someone that works closely with me. She recently just tried to take her life. She says she's like it's really hard for her that she's the breadwinner. She just had a baby as well. So a lot of hormonic body things, and then also having to be responsible for bringing the financials in for the whole family, and just constantly working, and she feels like she's giving and giving and giving, and that she feels really depleted. And I think a lot of people experience things like that. A lot of people feel like all we're doing is giving and giving, and we're giving to the world, we're giving to people, and why is it so unfair that we're not getting what we should be getting back in return? And I invited her to be on this call. I don't know if she's gonna listen to it or not, but the whole entire purpose of the course is to bring peace to the way that we give as well, the way that we are in relationship to giving, the way we are in relationship to those people around us. And how can we give from an abundant pool rather than from a place that is going to drain us, right? Like whether you're in business partnerships, I felt it this week too. I was like, I feel like my team is not showing up for me. Like we have 1 month before the conference and everything is like, and a part of me go into that scarcity of, well, I feel like I have to carry and do everything. And I'm doing everything and I'm making the sacrifices. So when we're in that space of scarcity, we go into everything I do as a sacrifice rather than a gift. And that's the shift that gets to happen for us in our mind, is when we are in that place that we feel like we're sacrificing, just stop. It's fine to take a, hey, Robert, good to see you. It's fine to take a moment for yourself to recalibrate, right? To get regrounded again, be in spirit again, be inspired to give again. Because when we give from a place of scarcity, we're not really giving. Nobody is receiving anything from giving from that place. You know, that you feel like you're making a sacrifice. No one actually even wants that. You know, because then the following from that is shame and guilt and judgment and attack. Right? So the invitation, and if you're hearing any part of this right now, is if you feel scarce, it's okay not to give in those moments. You know, because you really can't. We have to find, what is our practice? How do we get back to peace? How do we be inspirited again so that we can give from the infinite well? And that as we give, we feel like we're receiving, right? Because when we give from a place that's just from 100%, we feel really good. When we're generous and we treat others to dinner and we treat others to things, and from a place that just like, I'm coming from abundance, it feels really good to give. You know, when we're naturally connected to God and to the divine, giving is a natural flow of life. So, yeah, just if anybody is in that place and needs some support and prayer or mind shift, this is a prayer that goes out for all that is just giving so much to the world and forgetting that, you know, God's got your back. You know? So, yeah, thank you for being here and witnessing that, because as we share this, the seed is planted and the vision is not complete until each one of you takes it and go and spread it. You know, we all hold a piece of the kingdom, is what the Course calls that. Every one of us has our curriculum to be a part of, and it's your individualized journey, curriculum, opportunity, learning, teachings, all of that. And you are a teacher no matter what. Regardless of what you think about yourself or about your ability to teach, you are teaching. Every single moment, you're teaching what is real for you in your mind. And so we have to just become self-aware of, what am I projecting out into the world? You know, what is this idea that I have that I believe is the truth when it's kind of just my own perspective, and we're projecting it onto others and there's an agenda, right? Because all of these agendas is how we've created all the conflicts in the world today, that we've created all the divisions. You know, and so I love, there's a quote that I kind of just been with all year, and is that the great way is easy. It's not difficult for those that have no preferences. Right? It's like, I don't even know what's best. I don't know what's best for the world. I don't know what's best for me. Maybe having my heart broken right now is best for me, but I have no idea. And it's just about changing our relationship to those things that are happening. You know, and yeah, and it's the greatest gift that's running as fast as it can towards you. It's God saying, here, you can handle this. If you can shift your mindset and see this as a miracle and everything as a miracle, you're ready for what's next. And isn't that all we're doing, is we're just discovering the capacity of the love and of the connection to God that we are. You know? So it's perfect, because we are now on to chapter 8 of the Course, and it's called The Journey Back. And I love it. We've done a lot of work, and we've read a lot on the ego and how the ego operates, and now we're on the journey back. So, and even if you have not studied the Course, or if you have not picked it up and you have not read any of it, or if this is your first time tuning in, you're being a part of the Course right now, every single part of the Course is whole on its own. Just like each one of us is whole on our own. That means by understanding and by accepting and learning and being able to fully recognize any part of the Course in any part of your brothers and sisters, that means you're recognizing the whole. And as you recognize the whole, you're recognizing God. And when you don't, in that moment, you also forget God. You also forget about yourself, who you really are, and what we're really doing here. So before I go into reading chapter 8, super, super short. The first section is called the direction of the curriculum. So this is well, my front cover fell off, but this is A Course in Miracles. And it is a self-study book. And I think one of the things that really attracted me to the course is that in the very beginning, it states that this is only one path in which some people will find God. It's not the only path. And I love that it started like that, because a lot of the religious modalities and beliefs out there is my way or the highway, right? It's my way or you're going to hell. You must do it this way. And so I think if you're devoted and study long enough on any path, you will find that you will see the parts in which people have projected onto something. Just like if you want to study the Bible, yes, there will be parts that you will recognize that you have projected onto the Bible itself. You will see the parts in which, and as you recognize your own projections, you will see other people's projections in it. And which is fine. Projections are okay, but you just have to be able to discern when they're there and what that is. It's not the truth, and we don't even need to defend against it. Right? So as we study any modality, it could be yoga, it could be Buddhism, it could be anything. As you keep studying down that, because the divine is in everything. So whatever you study, it could be sports. People find God playing basketball, just when they're fully in it, when you're fully devoted to something. So my invitation, and I hope that I can inspire people into being devoted to something. Because most of us just look around for all these different pieces everywhere, trying to understand when all you have to do is be devoted to one thing. I don't care what it is. It could be writing poems, it could be drawing, it could be guitar, music, whatever. And through a set of dedication and devotion, you will find that divinity that exists within you, And so, where was I going with this? Oh, the course. So I grew up half Buddhist and half Catholic, my family. So I was pulled on so many different sides, and I just had a lot of resistances to Jesus, God, Holy Spirit, because I associated that with like pressure and shame and guilt, and I didn't like it. But that was just from my family. That's not what Catholicism is, right? That's just the pressure and the projections from my family. And so I couldn't read the course for a really long time because it used those symbols, it used those words. And until the course said, like, these words are symbols trying to point to something and point to something else. So like every one of these words, it could be misinterpreted. But can you hear beyond the words? Can you see beyond the words? What's the words behind the words? What's the spirit behind all of it? So then the words itself doesn't really matter. It's the transmission in which the study of the course creates. The energy transfers that's happening, words or no words. Right? We can all sit right here and completely be still and just look into each other, look at the names on the Zoom, and we can literally be transmitting energy and frequencies doing that. Right? Now we're using words to communicate a little bit more. So I will do my best not to put any projections in there, and just try to be in the now. As we started this call with, it's like in the present moment, what's wanting to be birthed? What's wanting to come? So with that being said, I would love just for anybody to share. The invitation is that, like, this is a safe space, this is a safe container. And as you're willing to be vulnerable, and as you're willing to share your challenges with not only me and the people here, but also live. We're live. Like, I think every time that I close my live, like between 300 to 700 people have tuned in at some point. little pieces, right? And we can, like, sometimes we're afraid of what we're sharing. Like, I try to demonstrate by sharing things that are vulnerable and that happens around me and my wife and our relationship and my business and investments and all of that, because it's the practice that the world is safe, and that we will bring the safety by sharing, and the idea that the world is safe. We share and we extend the idea that the world is safe by sharing, right? By being vulnerable. So, if anybody feels like sharing anything that is challenging you today, or that you want to bring onto this call, you want to ask deeper into what the course is, whatever is alive for you, my invitation is that, we start this call here by sharing, so that we know what's wanting to be birthed, what's wanting to be created on this call. Go ahead, Fraser. Thanks for sharing.
My biggest challenge is the direction in how I get to be present for my daughter by being there fully all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a consistent challenge for me, and it's been very difficult. It makes me very emotional and recently working with Adam has helped me to see where some of this has come from, and how I have felt the struggle of not wanting to be like my father or my mother in the way that they support.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that they're trying to show me the way that they know how to love. My father passed away when I was 13, so I don't have him in my life to help me to find the right way to achieve this goal, to be in the States full time and present for my daughter so that she doesn't have that lack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the biggest thing in my life that I want to achieve.
Yeah. So, sending lots of love to your heart, and bring peace to that. Now, here is what's important, and the ego doesn't want to hear this, is you think that there is a lack for your daughter, that you're not there. Okay, but there really isn't. There's plenty of evidence showing that regardless if you're there or not, she's going to be amazing. Right? This is that part that we get to have faith and trust that God's got her. And then it just comes down to, okay, this is your desire to be around her. And when you are around her, can you bring the maximum amount of love? Not bringing any of this like, it's lacking and you will lack. Like, I had a conversation with my wife last night, and she's going through this personal development training, and she's doing some work around her mom, and she's like, whatever came up, but basically she's like, because all these things that I feel is because you didn't hold me when I was born or when I was 1. I'm like, do you remember that happening? And she's like, no. But studies show that that's the case, right? So like, it's kind of like a story that was just created. I mean, it's not the facts. Like, I wasn't held either. That's why, it wasn't like me and my family, we never even really hugged until I was like 28, Now, I feel like I turned out fine. I feel like I'm very loving and kind, and the path is set. Like, God has got everyone's back. So first, like, just saying, okay, God, I give all this all over to you, right? I want to be down there. I want to be there for her, but there is no lack whether I'm there or not, right? So first, coming to that healed place about your situation, because this is your situation, And so, yes, it's, you want to be a great dad and everything, but all of this is showing you a thing that you get to heal within yourself. Maybe it's with you and your parents and you and your past. Now, the Course says your past didn't even happen the way that you thought it did, right? We have stories around our past, and then we make up things moving forward, and we project it into ourselves and others, and we have no idea that we're doing it. So this level, it's an opportunity to become more self-aware, You know, and as you become more self-aware, just watch the miracles show up, because miracles are a natural state of life. You don't even need a miracle. The miracle is not, oh my God, all of a sudden now I can go down to my daughter and we're together and then now all my problems solved, because that's not going to happen. You're going to find more problems. Right? So in the Course, it actually says, let me recognize the problem so that it can be solved. And let me recognize that the problem has already been solved. So we don't really know our problem. And that's what we get to continue looking back. And I think it's a lesson 79 and 80, I think it is. Yeah. Let me recognize the problem so that it can be solved. And then lesson 80 is, let me recognize my problems have been solved. A problem can be solved. A problem cannot be solved if you do not know what it is. Even if it is really solved already, you will still have the problem because you wouldn't recognize that it has already been solved. And this requires faith. And that's why, I'm writing this book and I feel so excited about it, because it's called Had You Have Faith, you wouldn't need a miracle. Miracles are happening every second, every moment. Faith is how we see it. Faith is how we recognize it. Ooh, that's good. Hold on. I want to add that. Yeah. But yeah, does that support you a little bit? Okay, cool. Are you complete?
Thank you.
Helen, go ahead.
Alex, I think you're right on target. I love your response all the time. You're just so accurate and right on target.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce myself. I haven't done that yet. My name is Helen, and I live in Boston, down in Cape Cod, well, South Cape Cod.
Welcome.
And I I did A Course in Miracles in 2022 with Jill, and we did it the whole year, every day, 8:30 in the morning, 365 days. We read the course, and it changed my life. It turned me around more than anything that's ever changed my life before. Well, I'm saying that broadly. There are other circumstances, however.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share this story that happened to me this week that I made happen, actually. I was, if you don't mind,
Please.
uh, I'm driving my car home from a luncheon that I had with a friend of mine. It was a fabulous time. And I'm going down the highway, and on the sides of me are all these green trees, and they're changing colors, and it's just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Also, I started thinking about this book that I read by Eben Alexander,
Hmm.
and the name of the book is A Proof of Heaven. And when I read that book, I believed every single word that he wrote. He was a neuroscientist and didn't believe. And he went to church, but he was a scientist, and so he went into a coma. And when he came out of the coma, he wrote this book.
Hmm.
Every single word he wrote, I believed. And when he described heaven, um, it was so I'm in my car driving, thinking about this book. Now I'm beginning to feel elevated, like I had smoked a joint, but it's more natural. I'm getting high from it. To think that I can see heaven and what it looks like. So now I use that as almost like a carrot that I dangle in front of me. This is my goal. My goal is to be in heaven, be heavenly, be whatever the term is. That's my goal.
Hmm.
To experience heaven. While I'm here, I have to undo a lot of stuff that's going to get me to achieve this goal. Um, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It was a great experience. I thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. You know, the Course says that, yeah, we do have to, we're in this world to shed all the things that is not us. You know, you and all the identity that you have assigned to yourself, all the philosophies that you have, the things that you believe are right and wrong, good and bad, all of those are ideas to be let go of. In order for us to even to be in the flow and to recognize and to know who we are, we have to let those things go. So thank you for sharing that. I wrote down the title of that book. It'll just kind of go on my list of next books to read. There's a long list. Yeah. Thank you for sharing and welcome.
Jill.
Thank you for introducing yourself. Of course. Hey, Jill. I knew you were going to go next.
Yeah, I can't help it. I'm such a blabbermouth. It's being a Gemini. We have ruled by Mercury. It's a big deal here. But thanks, Helen. We read that book. We didn't miss. I did not miss one day. 365 days. We did. We did it every. I think Helen only missed one. I'm not sure, but our group was pretty consistent. It was amazing, and it was kind of during COVID thing, so it was really great. But this is so amazing. I love you, Alex. I'm having my husband died almost 19 years ago. And for, I would say, 18 and a half years, I stopped crying. I didn't cry after that. It was like I had cried so much. And yesterday, I was telling you guys that I've been working with this guy in Russia. He's an architect, and we're planning to do these plans together. And he's been calling together this group to meet about moving to Russia. And it's like so freaking mind blowing. I can't even like comprehend that I'm there. And so he has different guests on, and it almost feels like a sales pitch from Putin. And honestly, and so on the group yesterday, they were sort of like I am here. I'm a blabbermouth, so I was asking a lot of questions. And I asked quite a few questions, like, I was saying that it felt sort of nationalistic and whole Mother Russia, and that like he was saying, what do you feel? And I was saying, well, I don't feel, I feel resistant. I feel resistant to what I'm hearing, and I was saying things like that. So this morning I had a call scheduled with Alosha that we were going to talk about architectural and stuff. And on the call, he started putting me down for asking questions and saying, oh, you took up, and there were notes coming in the chat box that were saying, I love you, Jill, from people I never saw their name before and stuff like this, because I was questioning people. I was questioning what was being spoon-fed us at that time. But I was still completely open to this whole idea, and I had even given Alosha money to go get me a visa so I could just come over and check it out, and I said I did that with trepidation because of the relationship right now between America and Russia, and that I had a little bit of fear around it. And they're like, why would you have fear? This is, we're driving 40 miles away from where the bombs are going off, and my music is playing, and I'm having a great time. And I don't know, everything just, so anyway, in the course of the conversation, he put me down quite a bit, and I felt really badly, and then he hung the phone up on me, and the Zoom call up on me, and the whole conversation was about how he was Christ conscious, and how his God was different, the Russian God was different from the Jesus God, the Christian God. And I was just listening to it going, okay, all right, I'll listen to whatever you're saying. But when I questioned him, he like I say, he was very domineering, and very, if you don't believe in our concept, you can't. Oh, and the man that ran the group said, you're resistant. You're not going to be part of our community or something. And I mean, Groucho Marx said any club that would have me a member, I wouldn't want to join. And so I mean, I sort of get it, but I was still open to it. But it really hurt me, and I just have been really upset about it all day
Hmm.
because it just, like I said, I've been crying for a really long time. I don't know why this was like, because it was like Alosh and I were going to build these plans for an eco village and utilize my husband's plans. He wanted to utilize them, and he does that kind of work, and you know, and it was kind of like a little bit of a dream kind of thing. And I get it. I get that, you know, you get dashed a lot of times and everything. And I just say, like, you know, it was sad for me. It just hit me wrong.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, sort of having fun fantasizing about it. Like even as a fantasy to go and visit, even in, you know, this kind of perilous moment. So,
Yeah.
okay, that's all.
Well, thank you for sharing that first of all, and sharing really from your heart of that whole thing. And you know, most of the times we don't even see what's actually happening in front of us, right? You think one thing is happening, but something else is actually opening up for you, you know? And I think a lot of times when people are in that space of like it's got to be this way or no way, like my way is better, there's there's no need to even challenge them, right? Because the feeling is I get resistant. Like automatic human beings will get resistant when somebody is like, I'm the best. I'm at the top. I am God. Like all of a sudden it's like, dude, that resistance comes up. But the moment when somebody is like that too, and this is just like a little more like human psychology, I guess, like if you even challenge it, it becomes like all of that stuff comes out. All the bad things come out. Now, if you're this is your opportunity to like love deeper, to understand deeper, but of course if you make it about yourself, it becomes like it's really sad. And also you had expectations, you had a preference of what you wanted to see. You really want to take ecotexture and what you and your husband created into reality in this lifetime while you're still here. But just know, first of all, know that what you guys want to create, like the energetics behind that is already done. It already happened, regardless if one ecotexture structure gets built or not. And so that level of patience, it's like if peace really comes to me when I have infinite patience. Right. But so somebody kind of teased it and was like, ooh, now we get to do it. It's like, oh my God, my dreams are going to happen. And then, of course, it comes crashing down because that preference comes like, I almost have this happen. Right. So like, yeah, it's an amazing opportunity to just continue to reflect and become more self-aware of, what you're getting yourself into. And awesome that you were still so open to that, right? Like, who knows? Maybe that is still a possibility. It's just maybe it's not the same person. It's not this person that you get to do it with, and maybe it's not even Russia, right? Like, it's just something has opened up for you that you're open to, and as you live into the possibility of it, and as you continue to keep it open, like just watch what comes to you. But you get to be patient and trust that God's got you. Right? Like this whole thing is getting you ready for what's to come as to who you're going to become. So thank you so much for sharing that. And also, perhaps it's, 18 and a half years, you needed it to get to a point where you can feel your heart and cry. So all of this, from my perspective at least, it's a beautiful thing that has happened. And I hope my recognition of the beauty of what's going on in that situation can also bring a little more clarity and peace into how you're feeling around it, And everything is love or a call for love. So his attack on you and putting you down is his call for love. It's his call for love. So can you respond with love, or will you let him enroll you into the lower levels of frequency? And so you have an opportunity, because right at where you're at, the flip side of that is enlightenment, is wisdom, and is clarity and peace. So it's right there. It's one thought away from just completely recognizing, wow, everything is amazing. That was so perfect. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Annika said, that is what you call a cult. I love cults. I feel like I'm in a lot of different cults, actually. Cultures. Cults. There's some good cults, I guess. You know, Tyler knows what I'm talking about. uh, Anybody else want to share anything? Yeah, thank you all for being here, and your presence really matters. Holding the space for each other, you know? Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. It's been a long time.
Yeah, hey, you know, we go through seasons, right? So, you know, I would say that rock bottom is a beautiful place because it really shows you, you know, it brings out stuff inside of you that you didn't know was possible, right?
Hmm.
I went to Tim Mai's event, man, and I met John Lopez there at Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and I just, you know, made me think about you. So, wanted to pop in and say hello. I'm going to Denver right now.
Nice.
But yeah, bro. I love your consistency. You know how you're dedicated to showing up. You know, every week, if not every week, you know, every other week. So you know, I respect that and I admire that.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. And it's super good to see you. You know, like every time I see you on a call, regardless if it's here in a real estate call, it's good. I feel a connection. So, yeah,
Sure.
enjoy Denver. And if you didn't know, we are throwing a conference here in October 21st to 23rd, legendsimpact.com. It's an impact experience, a course of miracles, real estate transformation, all in one place. It's unlike any other event.
I'm gonna try to make it. I'm traveling quite a bit. I was in Houston, going to Denver. I'll be in New Mexico this weekend, and then.
All right, cool. Throw Vegas on that calendar.
Yeah, I know. I gotta figure out the money situation, but I mean, if I got it, I'll head out there for sure.
All right, brother. Thanks for hopping on. Maya Rhodes, yay. Okay, Donna, go ahead.
Can you shut that fan off? Hey, so just kind of stupidly, we were on vacation and I lost one of my silver earrings, expensive. Then I lost a gold earring, and then I came home and I lost another silver earring that my aunt gave me. All in a month space. I've never lost any of my jewelry like that, and I'm just like trying to come to terms with like what is going on in the universe, like, making me lose all of my good stuff here, you know. So maybe I'm thinking like maybe there's more good stuff coming. I don't know. But how do you even process stupidity like this?
Well, first is that you're able to laugh at it. You know, I think just the fact that you can, you know, muster up some laugh is a good sign because, you know, the Course says none of these things mean anything, right? We've assigned meaning to all the things. Like I've assigned meaning to the book, A Course of Miracles, and all these things. And when my dog chewed up my book and it had all these things that I underlined, I'm like, what's the meaning of this? I'm like, I'm trying to find meaning when there's really, look, just don't be attached to it. Release the attachment of energy to something. That's the practice of forgiveness. You know, let me yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean only one of them my aunt who passed away gave me, so that's like where I'm trying to release the most because I can't get that one back.
Yeah, I mean, what can we get back? We can't get yesterday back either. You know, people pass away, we can't get them back either.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so you know, yeah, I mean it's one form of the way that the ego has us create, you know, loss of peace, you know, disturbances to the mind. And from there, like our attitudes change, our moods change. So, you know, this is just another opportunity presented to you to show you what you've made meaningful that is actually meaningless. You know, things that are, the Course says, all that you deem valuable, make it not valuable. And not from like a, you know, the ego doesn't really want to hear that. But when all things are valueless, everything's valuable. When all things are meaningless, all things are meaningful. You know, and the Course says God didn't create a meaningless world. But you have created a world that creates a lot of chaos and conflict. So we get to, as we shared earlier, we get to let go of the ideas of all the things about ourselves, our own philosophies, what is important, what is not, what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. You know, we get to continue to shed those things, because what we're doing there is we're limiting what is limitless. You, me, we are ideas of God. We are an extension of love, the love frequency that is maximum extension. And every time we attach to something and we make God of something and we put something on the altar that doesn't belong on the altar, we limit ourselves. You know, so like, what's on the altar? And the Course talks a lot about that too. What do you have on the altar? Is it money? Is it sex? Is it relationship? Is it cars? Is it status? Is it reputation? All of those things we throw on the altar, the Course says those are false idols. You will chase those forever, and it will never be enough. There will always be a need for more. But God, once God is on the altar, there is no more. There is no more that needs to be chased after. You know, and so as we go into chapter 8, I think this is a great segue, right? This is the journey back. It's called the direction of the curriculum. And it begins by saying knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. Right? Think about all the things we do in life. It's knowledge. Let me know more of it. So I think if I know more, I will be more at peace. So with that, peace is really the motivation, right? So knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. Peace is. Now, how you want to apply that to your life, that's up to you. Because that takes different forms. It might be in real estate. It might be in this. It might be in that. Whatever it is. But knowledge is not the motivation for learning. Peace is. And this goes back to, let me recognize the problem so that it can be solved. And then let me recognize that my problems have been solved. Because it's peace. Ultimately, we think we want money. We think we want more of, you know, whatever it is that we chase after. We want more of it, but that's not what we want. That we want peace. And peace already exists, and it's already in you. So let me recognize my problems have been solved. You know, but let me recognize the problem first. We think the problem is I need more money for bills and this and that. And how many problems come up? Right? What was your problem 10 problems ago? What was your problem this time last year? We keep solving things that just generate more problems. So, okay, as we read, the invitation is, let me put all the things that I think I know aside, all my philosophies, all my agendas, let me put all those things aside. And let's see if we can just fully be in the opening of the downloading of the highest version of yourself, the blueprint that exists already in the mind of God, that is ready and available for you, but it doesn't come from desire, it comes from willingness. It comes from an invitation. You have to invite the Holy Spirit, and you have to invite God to you. Not through what I want, but through an invitation, through the giving over of something that doesn't belong to you in the first place. Judgment, sadness, attack, defense. You know, so that you may be in a space of flow. And when you're in the space of flow, like we were sharing from the beginning of the call, creativity automatically comes. Joy automatically comes. Miracles automatically comes, because they exist every single moment. Our connection to God and our faith is the way to recognize it. All right, so as I read this section, it's very short. Allow yourself to just be open. Allow your heart and your mind to be open to whatever is meant to come to you. And know that it's the only reason that we're reading this, and the only reason this has been written and scribed for you, is peace. Peace is for you. And the intention is that as we read and as you listen, that whatever challenges you have, you may feel ready to let go, so that you can invite peace and God and Spirit into your life. All right? So the The direction of the curriculum, chapter 8, the journey back, section 1. Knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course, peace is. This is the prerequisite for knowledge because only those who are in conflict are not peaceful. And peace is the condition of knowledge because it is the condition of the kingdom. Knowledge can be restored only when you meet its conditions. And so the course actually says you already know. Knowledge, you already know. All right. So peace is how you recognize it. This is not a bargain made by God who makes no bargains. It is merely the result of your misuse of his laws on behalf of an imaginary will that is not his. Knowledge is his will. If you are opposing his will, how can you have knowledge? I have told you what knowledge offers you, but perhaps you do not yet regard this as wholly desirable. If you did, you would not be so ready to throw it away when the ego asks for your allegiance. Okay, so actually the first law of chaos is our eagerness to throw peace away. The distractions of the ego may seem to interfere with your learning, but the ego has no power to distract you unless you give it the power to do so. The ego's voice is an hallucination. You cannot expect it to say, I am not real. Yet you are not asked to dispel your hallucinations alone. You are merely asked to evaluate them in terms of their results to you. If you do not want them on the basis of the loss of peace, they will be removed from your mind for you. Every response to the ego is a call to war, and war does deprive you of peace. Yet in this war, there is no opponent. This is the reinterpretation of reality that you must make to secure peace, and the only one you ever need to make. Those whom you perceive as opponents are part of your peace, which you are giving up by attacking them. How can you have what you give up? You share to have, but you do not give it up yourself. When you give up peace, you are excluding yourself from it. This is a condition so alien to the kingdom that you cannot understand the state that prevails within it. Your past learning must have taught you the wrong things simply because it has not made you happy. On this basis alone, its value should be questioned. If learning aims at change, and that is always its purpose, are you satisfied with the changes your learning has brought you? Dissatisfaction with learning outcomes is a sign of learning failure, since it means that you did not get what you wanted. The curriculum of the atonement is the opposite of the curriculum you have established for yourself, but so is its outcome. If the outcome of yours has made you unhappy, and if you want a different one, a change in curriculum is obviously necessary. The first change to be introduced is a change in direction. A meaningful curriculum cannot be inconsistent. If it is planned by two teachers, each believing in diametrically opposed ideas, it cannot be integrated. If it is carried out by two teachers simultaneously, each one merely interferes with each other. This leads to fluctuation, but not to change. The volatile have no direction. They cannot choose one because they cannot relinquish the other, even if it does not exist. Their conflicted curriculum teaches them that all directions exist and gives them no rationale for choice. The total senselessness of such a curriculum must be fully recognized before a real change in direction becomes possible. You cannot learn simultaneously from two teachers who are in total disagreement about everything. So this is the two teachers of the ego and the Holy Spirit, right? Their joint curriculum presents an impossible learning task. They are teaching you entirely different things in entirely different ways, which might be possible, except that both are teaching you about yourself. Your reality is unaffected by both, but if you listen to both, your mind will be split about what your reality is. So this last part is very, if you understand this, it's going to really support you, because the last part is saying that your reality, who you are, cannot be changed. Your mind and your perception about it can be changed based on what you are willing to accept and who you give your allegiance to. So your mind about your reality can change, but the reality of you cannot change. You are an innocent child of God. You are an extension of the idea of love. Okay, maximum love that we can't even begin to understand. Or we can begin to, but we don't understand. So first, recognizing you're safe. Okay? Your reality is held for you no matter what you think about it. You can fight and struggle and do whatever you want in this life, in this body. The reality of you is held safe. Okay, now, that's why the Course says the alignment to that reality helps you and brings peace back for you. Okay, so how do we do that? We take on all the relationships. We look at the life that we live right now, and we use every single one of those things as an opportunity to learn and remember the reality that is kept safe for us. The will of God. Okay, so that is the goal, is to realign, the journey back to that realignment. Now the Course says, look, there are two teachers in your mind. They teach diametrically opposite things. There is nothing that is the same. So you're either your body or you are not. Spirit says you are not your body. Ego says you are. You try to take both of those lessons and everything becomes confusing. Right? Because if you are your body, then this separation is real. You and I are separate. You and I have different interests. You have lack, I have lack. You know? Or you are not your body. Spirit's like, you're beyond that. When this body goes, you return to something. Right? And usually it's not to the very last moment. You know, Michael Singer says your entire life is a preparation for your last breath. Your last breath is the surrender that you are not your body. But now, can we take that moment and bring it to this present moment now to live our life from that place? Right? Now, we're going to forget, we're going to vacillate. But any of those moments that we vacillate do not matter. Only this moment matters. I could be in complete chaos this moment, but now is a new moment. That moment doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't exist, because if it was challenging and I didn't have peace in that moment, all that means is that I gave my allegiance to the ego, and that's all that happened. And now, here, right now, this moment, where will I give my allegiance to? All right, so that allows us to shift and step into each moment with completely new possibilities. But if we keep dragging the past and shoving it into this present moment, the future is trapped. The present is trapped. We aren't even living in the present moment. And in the beginning of our call, we talked about miracles happen in the present moment. And all that a miracle is that I remember the reality and the kingdom that is held safe for me. That's a miracle. Simple. It's not even anything big. Right? We don't need to have $1 million show up in our bank account. It's just a recognition that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. And all the things that are happening are exactly what they're meant to do. Meant to happen exactly that way. And if I can come to terms and peace with that, that's what I'm looking for. The peace of God, right here, right now. All right, so that's chapter 8. Started with a bang. I love it. You know, we've been on chapter 7 for like 2 months. So every time we go into a new chapter, I get super pumped and excited, because it's, you know, a whole new chapter. You know, we're moving into chapter 8, which is a whole new chapter, which will bring with it a whole different level of frequency. You know, what is the Course's concept of God? Well, you can call God anything you want, right? So I know like you actually typed it in parentheses. This is a question from somebody. You typed it in parentheses means you pointed at a symbol. You're asking for what the symbol means. That is up to you in how you want to call it, right? You could call it universal energy. You can call it love frequency. You can call it God, love, whatever you want to call it. It's the one that had the idea of us. You know, it's not a thing. It's just a space. You can call it that too, right? So I don't have a definition for God. That will be your journey. I am merely speaking into our journey to remembering God. So hopefully that it's like a answer and a no answer at the same time. A lot of people ask God, who's God? What's God to you? Right? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. The moments I spent here are the next moments that keep me centered. Yeah. We spend a lot. This call is just such an amazing space for us to remember together. And right when the call's over, we can immediately get into conflict. That's how fast the ego is calling for our allegiance. And remember, every time that you respond, okay, any response to the ego is a call to war. War. All right, if you are not motivated enough, take war to a whole extreme level. What is the worst thing you can think of on the planet that's happening? What's the worst thing you can think about happening to another human being? Now, your response to your ego is a call for that. I don't know. Sometimes we need something like that to really shift, right? To really get it, to really connect it, to land it for ourselves. Yeah. Wow. I feel like this call has been long and short at the same time, and we still got a whole bunch of time. So anybody want to share anything? What's alive for you? What's going on? Where do you want to steer and take this call to? Yeah.
Something spoke to me and said, God is the Father of the universe. I don't know if that's a word for anybody, but it came into my spirit. So.
Yeah, love it. God is the Father of the universe. Great. You know, as big as you can see. As big as you can see. That could be it for you, you know? And at the same time, what is real for you does not mean it's a fact or a truth, right? So, like, we just have to be careful with how we share it with others. Like, that's what it is. The moment we even put a definition or something on it, we have limited it, you know?
I know. I might be a little crazy. I don't know.
No, it's good. It's actually I feel like it's a great definition. You know, I think the Father of the universe, the Father of love, anything, right? Father with a capital F, right? Beyond male, beyond female, beyond the masculine journey, female, male, you know, all of that. Like, I don't know. How big can we see, right?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, awesome.
But whatever we think God is, it's already too small anyway.
Yeah, love it. Okay, Jill.
Thank you. While we were talking, I got a voicemail from, while we were reading this lesson, from Alosha, apologizing, but at the same time not. But what was interesting is the lesson, which is about that you can't have the ego in those two places at the same time. And that was basically the message that I was getting on the phone from him while I was listening to the lesson, was that you have resistance to what we're teaching, so you can't be here. Basically what he was telling me.
Yeah.
So they did that. I mean, it was done for me, so to speak. The other thing, in answer to, could I read something for you?
Yeah, please.
It's the intro to the Urantia book about God.
Love it.
Because let me go get it. Hold on, it'll take a second.
Okay. I have it also right here, but yeah, you read it.
One of my, you guys, if you're not familiar, but because people that read the Urantia books say that.
Well, hold on. First of all, the Urantia book is 5 times the size of A Course in Miracles and smaller writing. Probably 10 times, maybe. Yeah, it's amazing. The parts that I read. Yeah.
In the mind, this is in the minds of the mortals of Urantia, that being the name of your world, there exists great confusion respecting the meaning of such terms as God, divinity, and deity. Human beings are still more confused and uncertain about the relationships of the divine personalities designated by these numerous appellations. Because of this conceptual poverty associated with so much ideational confusion, I have been directed to formulate this into that blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I just wanted to read that first sentence of the foreword of the book because we fight wars over how we call God.
Mm-hmm.
Just by how we call God, we fight wars about it, which is so crazy. So that's what this whole thing was going on right now between Alosha and myself today was literally about we have the Russian God, our Russian Jesus is better than your Jesus, so to speak. And you don't know our Russian Jesus. When you know our Russian Jesus, you will really know who Jesus is. And we have a different concept of Jesus. I wasn't saying anything really about it. I was just confused and asking questions. And but it caused the ego. It caused the ego to get into this conflict right there.
Yeah.
And for me to be shunned and shamed.
Yeah.
For asking questions. You can't have those kind of questions on this call. So it's pretty interesting, but yeah.
So the Course says that confusion is of the ego, right? So like, why are you confused? You know, that's maybe the self-awareness question is, why am I confused? Right? Because if someone said that to me, I would have no resistance to it. I'm like, cool, tell me. You're Jesus, right? Like, but when someone attacks us, right, and says like, oh, you're resistant to this, actually what has happened, if I'm triggered by that, it means that I have attacked this person first. I'm resistant to the fact that you're resistant to me. That's what's happening. So
I didn't feel that. I felt that because I expressed openly that I was resistant, because I said to them, they asked how I was feeling, and I said, well, I feel resistant to what you're saying. And it was just an honest response. That's how I felt, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't buying the whole thing right out of the gate. And it was a natural response. But for that, you know, I was, you know, not the right person to be there.
Yeah.
Jill, you were asking questions, and so therefore he was becoming resistant.
Yeah.
Well, you know, whatever the case happened, right? Really, there's no one else out there, right? This is what the Course we just read earlier. You just went to war, but there's no opponent, right? The ego says there's an opponent. It's you and this guy, and you ask questions, and he said this and that. That's not the problem here, right? So for us, it's like, let me recognize the problem. The problem is that I felt attacked. What was that about? You know, like, if there's no one else out there, if there's no opponent, and everybody is of God, why do I feel attacked? You know, and that becomes like the self-awareness that we can tap and step into is that, you know.
Well, they're words. Words.
Words.
Yes, unfortunately, but they do. And there is intention behind words as well. Sometimes they're unintentional intentions.
Well, our interpretations of words actually is what creates for us, right? Because somebody can say, Alex, your red shirt on today is ridiculous. And I'm like, I'm not wearing a red shirt. But at a lower consciousness, I might get into a conflict with you and say, dude, I don't have a red shirt on. It's black. And then you can keep saying red. And I'm like, no, it's black. and we just go back and forth, and what are we doing? Right? But if you're like, dude, your red shirt is cool today, Alex. Cool, shit, whatever. I'm like, ah, cool, thanks. Right? Like, if I don't interpret those words, then I don't. What is the intention, right? Because we actually don't know. We think the intention of, let's say, someone saying my red shirt is ugly today is an attack on me. Then I viewed it, and I think it's and that's the intention. But the intention is actually they're just calling for love, right? So we actually misinterpret intentions all the time. So the Course says, take it if it triggers you. You don't need to purify alone. Just give it over to me. Give it over to Spirit and God, and I don't know what's going on here. That means we don't have to hold on to it, right? I don't have to be sad about it, and I don't even need somebody's forgiveness or their apologies, right? Because oftentimes we were like, okay, well, if you apologize, then okay, we have a chance here. But I'm still going to hold you to it because you are this way now. You're in this prison. So we just, continuously, it's just all forgiveness processes over and over and over again. And the forgiveness process is, sorry, man, I forgot. I forgot who you are as an innocent child of God, and I forgot that I am also an innocent child of God. So the forgiveness process is pretty much a prayer for remembering. That's forgiveness right there. It's like, let me pray. My prayer is to remember that I am actually lacking nothing, and I cannot be attacked, and I am the fullest expression of love that there is. Yeah. Hey, Tyler. Thanks for bringing your kid into this frequency. Childlike wonder is more of what we can do here. We can have. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, so I heard somebody say one time, it takes more faith to be an atheist than it does to believe in God. I believe that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, I saw a great video on atheists. Like, okay, so you believe nothing. Okay, great. You believe in nothing, but when you die, what happens? Oh, nothing. Right, so you believe in nothing, and when you die, you become nothing, so you're really returning back to nothing. So this nothing is really God, right? So it was funny. It's like, I don't know if it takes more to be atheist or not. Because people that believe in God have equal amount of conflicts as those that don't. So it's an interesting statement to think about, and it's true and false at the same time.
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
I felt like it's an interesting point when you never really thought about it like that,
Yeah. Totally. Anything that opens our mind to the possibility of something else can serve. Awesome. Who else? What else? All right. Well, Marianne Williamson will inspire us with some. Oh, go ahead.
Say one more thing.
Yeah.
There's a verse in the Bible that says, concentrate on the words of God, and don't listen to your heart because your heart can lie to you sometimes. And I've kind of noticed that, like whatever my heart is desiring is not in line with what God wants from me sometimes. So I don't know if that's helpful for anybody, but that's some wisdom that I can come across in the Bible.
Nice. Yeah. It really comes down to what the Course says. I don't perceive my own best interests. Like, I don't really know what's best for me. So God knows what's best for me. God holds my reality safe. So let me continue to give it over, just kind of like what Jill was sharing earlier. Like, for me also, I'm like, shit, if this Mexico deal that I have goes through, oh my God, like, this is going to be massive abundance. I can do so much more and do all that. Okay, God, please just have this happen. It's my preference. I think this is going to be best for me and best for me to serve the world. But what the heck do I know? Right? I thought that for the last deal. And then the guy was like, no, yeah, you're meant to just like kind of like lose your shirt here. And I'm like, oh, great. Get to humble myself down, and can I still carry forth? Can I still, be in a space of inspiration? Can I still be generous, and abundant? Yeah, I guess still can. Yeah, so. All right, Matt, go ahead.
Thank you. Uh, Hi everyone, my name is Matt. I'm in Prescott, Arizona. And my ego has questions.
Let's do it.
Again, I feel like I'm hung up on words, so I was contemplating the talk earlier about being devoted to something
Mm-hmm.
and also having nothing on the altar and no preferences. And I'm trying to reconcile those two concepts and I guess maybe it's my semantics on the term devotion,
Mm-hmm.
but I would just appreciate any clarification that you could offer in the reconciliation of those two concepts.
Yeah, so Helen earlier shared that her and Jill studied the course for 365 days and it had a profound effect on her. Now, if we think about our lives, what have we consistently done for 365 days? Right? Like that is what kind of devotion is speaking into. It's like, can you do it for 365 days straight? Can you do it for 10 years straight? Can you do it for 50 years straight? And the more you do it, the more surrender happens. Because the whole practice of devotion is a practice of surrender. And so I don't know if that supports in that, but for me, actually, this is a good thing to write down too. For me, that's the practice, and it's not about putting something on the altar, like, oh, I'm devoted to the course, and the course gets to be on the altar. But it's actually, if I devote myself to the teachings and the practice of the course, it's actually teaching me to let go of my attachment to the course. And what belongs on the altar is owning love, God, Father, the universe, whatever you want to call it. That belongs on the altar. Everything else is a tool. So, when we get to heaven's gate, every tool that we had up to this point gets to be dropped and we don't need it anymore. The Course says in that space of being and bliss, you don't need any of these tools. There's no need for correction or change because we're in the state already. So the Course, the Bible, symbols of Jesus, cross, all the stuff, you leave aside, right? Before you enter heaven's gates, all your baggage gets to be put down. All the ideas of what you think you are gets to be put down. So that's it's still it's not let's get attached to something, right? Let me get super attached to yoga, or let me get really attached to the Course. It's not that. It's my devotion. What is my devotional practice? What can I practice day in, day out, right? Chop wood, carry water. What can I do that all day? What can I do as my chop wood, carry water? Teaches me to be patient, teaches me to be humble. I don't know what that is for you. You will have to find. That's your journey. And each one of those things, whatever it is, it could be making glass pieces just by being in that space of just doing it, and I'm being in creativity. That opens up for you. You could be devoted to art, to the practice, to the practice of being in flow, because again, art is just creativity and it's flow, and it's kind of like the remembering of God's will for you. So,
Thank you.
yeah, hope that supports.
It does.
And I feel like there's a lot of epic things that were shared here on this call. Gotta make a note for my video editor and VA to really explore this call here today. We have a little more time. I know it's Sunday. Thank you all so much, really, that you've spent these moments with me, and really Really appreciate that. Um, let's see what else. I guess I'll just share a little bit of what I got going on, more of my gifts and offerings to the world, and what I want to create is a kind of a combined community of all the things I've gathered: the Sacred Valley Peru community, Purple Eagle community, my real estate community, Burning Man community, and the Legendary Tribe community. Like, so many different communities that are kind of separate right now. How do we put that all together? So I have a lot of really epic people coming together in the first conference, live conference I'm throwing, called Legends Impact Experience. So that is happening October 21st to 23rd in Vegas. The tickets are half off right now, and I think we are 50% sold out. So it's very limited. Only 120 people is maximum that we can fit into that room. So we actually can't sell anymore. And I would love to have the support and the presence of people from this community to be there, right? Because this is the heart. This is the heart space. You know, this is the heart space. A lot of what we're going to be doing is personal development, transformational for sure. We have breakthrough exercises. We'll teach about funnels, marketing, real estate also, but just in such a different way, right? Like most conferences that people go to, everybody's just outside trying to network and nobody's really paying attention to what's going on. But this is an experience, right? We're actually going to have a Legends Vegas amazing race as well. So it's whole thing is just going to be designed to give you the maximum experience of yourself, self-awareness, of new strategies and tactics that you can bring into your life for, you know, creating financial freedom for your business, for your life. And then also it's just going to be entertaining too. It'll be a hypnosis show, lots of fun things that happen. So combination of education, transformation, and entertainment all in one place. And we hope that this is going to be the first of many that we will be doing. Okay, go ahead, Janice.
Hi. So I didn't mean to spark a big controversy about God when I asked that question.
Oh, no.
I just know nothing about the book, The Course in Miracles. I This is my second time coming, and I tried to look it up today, and there are all these different things. So that's why I will have questions about what is the Course's perspective of this, because I don't know. And funny as that sounds, because even before coming here, that's always been my take on life anyway, is that I don't know. I've learned so much. I mean, seriously, I know a lot.
Yeah.
But what do I really know? Because the more you know, the less you know.
Uh-huh.
The more you know, the more you realize you don't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly believe that. And it was nice to hear that reiterated on this call, on the last call.
Yeah.
And I want to share with you too that the last call really did affect me, because I was been wrestling with a question, and I've been wrestling with it for years, and I was able to really step back, and I've tried to do this before, but I was able to really step back and really see that that's not the question at all. I'm asking the wrong question. And it's funny, because I would always say this if I applied for a job or something. I'd say, I ask the right questions. And I've been in customer service sales for a long while, and people would come into the store. I did vitamin sales. People would come into the store, and they would be asking for a specific product.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I would ask about it, the more I would say, no, that's not what you're actually looking for. This is, why don't you look at this? And here's why. And I go, I think that we all do that. We have this thing in our heads, like this is going to solve this problem. This is what I need to do, and it can stay in our heads. We're convinced, so convinced of it, it'll stay there for years, and yet the problem is never solved in years. You know, and yet we're still like, no, that's it. That's how we do it. But it's not. You know, so it's we're asking the wrong thing, or we're looking at it so entirely. We're just so attached to that thought that we have, and it's just a thought. I mean, you know, I learned that when I did a lot of Chan meditation. You know, our thoughts are not necessarily a real thing. They're just this passing, fleeting thing that we get attached to, and we get attached to it for years.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to go on like this. I wasn't even gonna.
Well, thank you. No, actually, you mean it. Yeah. You know.
I wanted to just clarify, like, I don't, you know, when I ask these questions, it's because I don't know anything of this course, and I just want to know other people's perspectives of things, so I can round mine out as well. I'm not going to necessarily jump on board with the person's response, but I'm going to round out, you know, and just think about it and just open to new things.
Yeah, thank you for sharing and actually speaking up. You know, I didn't see it as any like offense or anything like that, for sure. You know, like, I actually love anybody that asks questions about anything, you know, because it sparks the conversation and it leads to what is really wanting to come out on this call, right? So all of us, the question you have actually is part of the journey of the question that everybody has here. You know, so you sharing it is actually the most perfect thing. And even you know, resharing now is so perfect. So many things that you just share was really, really profound too. You know, and now there is I don't know anything, and I don't really know what, you know, all of that. But the course actually says there's a distinction between that and certainty. You know, we can be certain about something, and then we can also have questions. We can also be in the surrender, we can be in the surrender of, I don't know what's supposed to be or what this is for, right? And we can ask the question, what is it for? But we can also be certain about something. We can be certain that as I ask it, as I invite the Holy Spirit and God in, the invitation goes out, it will always be responded to. The answer will always come. So we can be certain about that, but it's, who do I ask the question to, right? What is the purpose of this question? You know, what is my question? What is this problem that I think I have? You know, and so the hopefully with more of the study and being together in this call, because this is for me the truth of the truth that I have around these calls is that as we do this and as we're in relationship and we're in communication with each other, my certainty of God got my back, of the organized principle of the universe is to create the greatest good for all, my certainty about that becomes more and more, right? I become more certain about it. Then I can take that certainty and bring it to the things in my life that I feel like are uncertain. And can I bring that to it and bring peace to my life, to this situation? You know, so thank you for sharing, actually. It's exactly what was needed on this call for the question you asked, you know. And so you asked it to me directly. I didn't say a name or anything. I was just like, somebody asked that, right? So like, it's perfect, you know. And so thank you. You don't ever have to apologize or explain anything that you guys feel is alive for you. You know, there is no dumb questions. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. So yeah, and I will do my best to just, you know, be a neutral, safe space and share my interpretation and my journey of the course. And that's the best that I can do. And some of you guys in different moments, you will be the teacher of the course by what you share. You know, and there is nothing that can happen that is not a teaching moment. So Yeah, amazing. We have 2 more minutes. I can close this out with Marianne Williamson's a thing from there, or if anyone feels something more alive that you want to share. Okay. So somebody asked, oh, the other book. So this book is A Course in Miracles. The book that Jill was talking about is called the Urantia book. Yeah, both speak into the same thing, really. You know, different ways of speaking it, but the spirit of it is really the same. Okay. Day 116. Today I will expect less from others and more from the universe. Cool. All right. Today I will not grasp at people or things I feel I need in order to supply my good. Rather, I'll remember that in God I already have everything. As I allow all people and things to be, whomever and however they are, the universe will respond positively to my correction positioning of my heart and mind. As I allow all things to be, all things will in turn be wonderful. Dear God, please take away my grasping nature. May my mind not seek to control either people or events, but rather that I look with love on all things. Then and only then will my world transform from darkness to light, from fear to love. Amen. Aho. Hayaya. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. I can't wait till Wednesday. Sheesh, I feel like it's so far away. Maybe we need to do this more often. But happy Sunday, everyone. Much blessings to you all. And if you have any aha moments, please do feel free to share in the WhatsApp chat as well. I'd love to start collecting, creating a collection of people's aha moments on these calls too. So if you have them, feel free to share them on the WhatsApp.
See you in Vegas.
All right. See you in Vegas.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Love you guys. Bye.